Badly for her, really slow start. But one name that we have to pick out is the sister Vera Zatikova of Belarus, from a start number of 41st. She went through 7.5 kilometers in 17 minutes 37. That's 53 seconds behind Burakina and about 50 seconds behind Zavialova. Obviously, she's not going to get into the medals, but of the late starters, that's the most notable improving performance there.
Yes, she's doing quite good back there. We can see from out the track now that Smigun is going in front of Zavialova, and that's a little bit surprising. Nagaikina have to go back, and she's about 15 seconds behind these two girls now. But Smigun in lead in front of Zavialova. I expected that she will wait a little bit longer.
Yes, unwrapping herself for the second half. Maybe there's a realization here that she can't leave this to a lot later in the race, that she's got to actually get herself back into the race. And of course, going past Zavialova will not do Zavialova's confidence any good. If she feels that Smigun can get past her, but not just get past her, but go away from her, if Smigun has the ability to disappear and leave Zavialova behind, I think Zavialova's spirits will be damaged.
Yes, you're correct in that, David.
But Peruzzi still looking good for the host nation. Is this the day when they're going to get that elusive medal that they've been hoping for since Tuesday, the 18th of February? I think most of us would love to see Peruzzi get a medal, and also for the head coach Marco Albarello, who's had to withstand an enormous amount of pressure and criticism. It's not his fault that his team catches the flu. There are criticisms about things, the way things are organised, but it's very difficult, isn't it, Magna? You've been in this position as a head coach.
Yes, I mean, if you have a flu in your team, you normally need about 3 weeks to be in your top performance after that. So it's a very difficult situation for the Italian team. But now Peruzzi is going good. Valbusa is making a fantastic race so far. And tomorrow they have Pilar Kotler going for the 50K and a medal there, I hope and think.
Let's talk a little bit about Bentaskari while we have a moment, because her tummy troubles ruling her out of the race. You had a chat with her earlier.
Yes, and she said that she think she was okay again before the sprint, but then it was starting on again, and now she was not feeling well today, and she was also afraid that it will be difficult to come to the start in Holmenkollen, but she hopes she can do that next weekend.
Yes, definitely wanting to retain her World Cup title. Malahova, one of the two Kazakhstan racers who's been travelling together with teammate Oksana Yatskar, these two putting up a great job at the moment. By the way, you may wonder what we do in the evenings. We send Magna out to gather all the gossip. Now, I gather Marit Björgen celebrated just a little bit with the success in the sprint worlds.
Yes, she had a big party last night, and the rumors tell that it was until 4 o'clock in the morning. But that's okay. She is going to the next race next week in Holmenkollen, and I'm quite sure that she will be back in the top line again then.
What do you think about her, Magna? I mean, she's obviously the queen of the sprints and the shorter distances, but given time, she's only 22. How good could she be?
Oh, she is now definitely the best sprint racer of the world in the skating technique, and also she made a very, very good relay for Norway, and she said that her goal is to be better than Bente Skari.
Gabriela Peruzzi's going really well, isn't she? Look at this at 17,000 meters, and the race is really picking up now. This is Peruzzi, still Zavialova to deal with, and she's still got Smigun snapping on her heels.
Yes, and Valbusa in the back of...
Yes, Valbusa's got a fine 20 seconds, but she's skiing ahead of Kaiser Vares, and, she's going better than we thought.
Definitely.
Here are the two Italians. It's the dark hat there of Gabriela Peruzzi, and Sabine Valbusa is doing exactly what we predicted, Magna. She's sticking on her ski tails and getting the fastest possible ride.
And maybe at the last part she can go up and help Gabi a little bit with the fight for the medal.
But at the moment it's Zavialova, Burakina, Peruzzi, Smigun, don't forget Shevchenko. Well, this is terrific stuff by Olga Zavialova.
pushing very hard there, and it's maybe Smygen have a little bit problem also. Now it's looking good for Smygen also.
Yes, but she hasn't unlapped herself, and she's still got that 30-second deficit on Zaviolova. 17,000 meters completed, but still 13,000 to go. The question is, what are Smygen's tactics going to be? How long can she wait? Because 30 seconds is a lot of time. Does she think that Zaviolova is going to crack in the later stages? Because she's, in a way, betting on that, isn't she?
Yes, and I think that Kristina expect that Zaviolova will slow down after about 20 to 25 kilometers, and Kristina, of course, have the times from Peruzzi that she know that they are about at the equal time.
How complicated is this for a racer? Because here it's not just knowing one relative time, you've got to take in maybe several relative times from the coaches.
Yes, and it's important that you can take all that information and make your tactic to how to run the race. A 30K is a long distance, and the last 10 kilometers is really, really tough, and you need to be clear in your head and save energy for the muscles to the last 10 kilometers.
So what would, if you were out there on the trail and you were giving that key message, well, I'm going to pause for a second and ask you that question in a moment. Let me pick that up, Magna. If you were out on the trail now, what would you be saying to Kristina Smygen about the differentials between Peruzzi and Zaviolova? Well, Zaviolova she can see.
Yes, I will tell her that you have the equal time like Peruzzi, who right now are at the second place before Burkina is coming. I think she is slowing down, and that Kristina should stay with Zaviolova and save as much energy as possible, and then try to make a big attack after about 20 to 25 kilometers to try to go away from Zaviolova with 30 seconds. It's possible for Kristina to do that.
Yeah, she couldn't leave it much later than 25, could she?
No, 25, that's the limit.
Zaviolova, Peruzzi, still waiting to see Burkina. Remember, Burkina at 15,000, where did we see her? 12,300 meters we saw her. And we'll just check on that at the moment. Burkina at 15,000 meters, exactly the halfway stage, was 7 seconds down on Zaviolova and going the wrong way, but she still had a cushion of some 15 seconds over Peruzzi and Smygen. Shevchenko was 40 seconds off the pace of Zaviolova, the current race leader.
And you can see Hilde Pedersen have had a good pace now in the back of Shevchenko, and I think she will stay there. But now it will be interesting to see what can the Burkina make up to this intermediate time. It was 7 seconds behind, and what is it now? Pirjo Manninen, not that lucky day today. And here we have Burkina in the back of her, I think.
Burkina still about 7 seconds, so she seems to have stabilized. It's 7 or 8 seconds, which would put her still 18 or 19 seconds ahead of Peruzzi and a little bit more ahead of Smygen. So Burkina maybe going through a bad patch between 7.5 and 12, but she's now seemingly stabilized her situation. And there she's gone past Evie Sackenbacher of Germany, who started a full minute ahead of her. And Sackenbacher, I suspect, will also try to get onto the tails of the Russian.
Yes, and that's a good place for Evie now to stay, and also for Burkina, because Evie normally have a very good last 5 kilometers.
Becky Scott through the 15,000 meter mark with about 1 minute and 12 seconds to make up. Looked to have stabilized, that's what I suggested, but I don't think she's able to maintain the pace of the front runners. By the way, just a reminder, our email address, ski@infovoice.de, and John Chaplin, very many thanks to your email. I'm glad you enjoyed the mass start racing, but I take your issue or your point that you're really a fan of the time trial. So I hope you're enjoying this race today here. John from the Isle of Bute, and Never been there, but guess it must be a nice part of Scotland. Now, 41. This is Vera Zatikova. Oh no, it's Natalia. Look at 41. They've got Natalia Zatikova, who's number 2, who's going through 22,500 meters. But in fact, it's her sister Vera who's traveling with her, who started later in the race, who was doing rather better. Tried to check on her progress. She was about 40 seconds down at 7.5 kilometers. I'll try and see where she was, because she's going through at 15,000 meters, and she's a couple of minutes down, but she's in the top 20. So of the two sisters, she's doing rather well.
It's just like a training for them, because I'm sure they have been training a lot together, and here they are together right on the course.
Confortola in the stadium, 22,500 meters, and Antonella trying to challenge for the early advantage. At the moment it is Natalia Zatikova. Confortola is behind her. And Claudia Kunzel. It's not just physically draining, but emotionally draining as well. She did so well in the sprints.
Yes, she likes the shorter distances better. She's still young and can be better in the long distances further on.
Silver medalist behind, of course, Marit Jürgen last Wednesday in the sprint competitions. So 17,000 meters now for Claudia Kunzel, and just looking at the situation, Zabielova by 7 from Burkina, Peruzzi in bronze medal position, but only 2 or 3 seconds ahead of Christina Smigen, and we know that Christina Smigen has got fast pace towards the end. And then Shevchenko, she's got to find something like 20 seconds to bother Peruzzi for a medal, and Valbuza, who's traveling with Peruzzi, is about 30 seconds behind her teammate. And then Evi Sakenbacher and Kaiser Varis. And just looking further down the order, again worth relating here, Magna, the Kazakhstan racer Yatskaya, only 2 minutes off the best at this point. I know it's 17,000 meters and not 30,000, but I think she's having an excellent race, and she could be in line for a third individual top 15, certainly top 20, but possibly even a top 15 result.
Yes, that's possible that she can make that, and that's good for the Kazakhstan team. And like we talked about before, for the next championships, the Kazakhstan girl team is very interesting.
So there are the leaders. Let me talk about one or two others. Ellen Eck, the best for